Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. Happy St. Patrick's Day as well. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I talk about 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. As I say it every day, wherever you're watching Before the Four today, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, of course, thank you so much for watching and spending just a bit of your Monday afternoon here. Now let's begin with weather as we're getting out of a quite scary weekend as the potential of some serious severe weather was up in the air. We saw flooding, thunderstorms, high winds, and were put under both tornado watches and warnings. Thankfully, we did not see a lot of that here, however. But today, an absolute beaut for this St. Patrick's Day. Let's turn it over to 48 First Alert meteorologist Jeff DeNoyer for a look at what we're seeing this week. Jeff?
Hey, good afternoon to everybody. Hope you enjoyed your St. Patrick's Day today. If you see three of me, focus on the one in the middle. That's the one. That means you had a really good day. And if you did be outside during the day today, you had plenty of sunshine. And it was a nice day, but it was chilly, right? A little cold this morning, temperatures in the 30s, and we got up to about 60 this afternoon. It hasn't really been all that warm. But after another cold night tonight, we'll start to warm things up again on Tuesday, and it does turn out to be a lot better day. Let's take a look at the graphics in Athens as I record this. 55, beautiful blue sky, and plenty of sunshine, and it looks pretty good. Temperatures across the board. It was going to be a struggle to hit 60 today. Many locations did not make it. Russellville, at the time I'm taking this recording, is 60 degrees, but everybody else is in the mid to upper 50s. Overall temperatures running way below average for this time of year and a chilly St. Patrick's Day. But we'll reverse the trend tomorrow. Temperatures back in the 70s. Wednesday, keeping an eye to the sky. Not really so much during the day, but at night could be a few strong storms Wednesday night. Mainly more in the way of heavy rain, small hail, some gusty winds. Once that rainfall is out of here, spring will be here Thursday. And if you think it's going to be beautiful and warm on spring's first day, that would be wrong. Temperatures only about 50 degrees, but moderating temperatures as we go into Friday and the weekend. We're back to the 70s by Saturday and Sunday. And you can't rule out a stray sprinkle or shower on the weekend, but most areas will likely stay dry. And it actually turns out to be a pretty nice weekend. So the temperatures are all over the place this week, but the one thing we don't have is widespread severe weather, which is good news. Just got to keep an eye on that Wednesday night for a potential for a few stronger storms. Otherwise, a pretty quiet weather pattern.
Well, certainly ready for spring without a doubt. Thank you so much, Jeff. And now to the severe weather across the South and Midwest that I mentioned earlier. The storm system responsible for at least 40 weather-related deaths as it moved across the country, spawning dangerous tornadoes and thunderstorms. NBC's Kathy Park was in hard-hit Magnolia, Mississippi. With more, take a look.
Overnight, parts of the Northeast drenched by heavy rain and hail after deadly storms pounded the South and Midwest. As dozens of tornadoes ripped through 7 states, killing at least 40 people, uprooting trees and dismantling homes and businesses.
Oh my God.
The strongest confirmed twister, a powerful EF4 in Jackson County, Arkansas. This monster funnel cloud seen in Mississippi. As frightening scenes broke out across the state.
I was holding my wife to my chest and just watching everything disappear and watching everything get ripped down away from me.
And in neighboring Alabama, one possible tornado strong enough to toss a bus onto a high school. Farther west, high winds are still wreaking havoc. As wildfires rage across Texas and Oklahoma, the frightening flames and high winds being blamed for at least 4 deaths. And a Kansas dust storm causes highway pileup where 8 people died.
I have vehicles crashing behind me. This is extremely volatile, very hazardous situation.
Back in Mississippi, resilience rising above the rubble as a recovery begins.
When you look at the devastation around you, are you just grateful?
I'm just thankful to be alive. Yeah. The important thing is that me and my family are safe.
Well, fortunately, here in the Tennessee Valley, the weather did not get too severe this weekend, but here in the state, like Walker County, it was a much different story. Jonathan Hardison with WBRC on what he saw in Sipsey. Take a look.
Here in Walker County, it was this storm pit that Terry Thomas says likely saved he and his wife's lives. They got the warning about the tornado, ran a few feet from their home down into this pit, and this door began to shake, he said, as they huddled behind it. He was holding it closed for dear life. Once the winds had passed over and calmed down, they stepped out into pure devastation around their home here. A lot of debris strewn across, like these shingles that had come off of his roof just a few feet away, trees that had been completely snapped in half, and then behind me here, complete and utter devastation. You see the path of the storm going this way, coming right over that pit, a pit that probably saved their lives.
And then as soon as we got in the storm pit, I looked out and I told my wife, I said, here it comes. As soon as the news media told us, they was correct, because we got in the storm pit and then it hit us.
And that pit obviously was a lifesaver for you guys.
Yes, sir. Wouldn't take nothing for it.
Around the Thomas's home, we found trees snapped like toothpicks, water still spraying from the ground, and neighbors trying to come to terms with the destruction this tornado created. But we also found lots of volunteers ready to help. The reassuring buzz of chainsaws, tarps going up on roofs, and a lot of folks thankful this wasn't worse.
Hey, the Lord blessed me. All their lives are saved. All my family was saved, and that's a blessing to the Lord.
So this is not a bad Sunday morning for you?
No, it's a blessing.
Just about 14 hours after the tornado ripped across this area in Sipsey, the signs of recovery are already there. There's tarps going up on the roof. In fact, right here, the power company's already come through. This is a brand new power pole put in since the storm knocked this one down. If there is any sure sign of recovery here, it is that. Folks already getting to work, helping their neighbors. New power poles up, a sure sign, even in the midst of this devastation that unfortunately we know all too well how to recover from these storms, and thankfully, that's a process that is underway. In Sipsey, Jonathan Hardison, WBRC 6 News, on your side.
Well, that's very great to hear that they're okay, but now in Plantersville, 2 were confirmed dead Saturday night after an EF3 tornado rolled through. Simon Schussler with WSFA reports.
A storm turned deadly in Plantersville Saturday night. Officials in Dallas County have been on the ground all day helping people find their pets and loved ones.
We have 2 confirmed fatalities at this time. We've confirmed 1 shortly after the storm left, and we had a female, approximately 82, 83 years old, that had been missing. She was actually recovered this morning.
That 83-year-old woman was identified as Annie Free. Only a few bricks remain where her home used to be. Free's granddaughter, Tiffany Reed, searched for her shortly after the storm passed through, only to find she had been thrown out of her home.
They found her 3/4 of a mile away with parts of the mobile home. It's like it's not real, you know. You hear about these storms and then you don't really put the feelings behind it until it hits home.
Just to give you an idea of how strong this storm was, take a look at this log. You can see a sharp, circular piece of metal just wedged in there.
Another resident explains a tree fell through the roof of the house she was staying at, recalling the terrifying moments of hearing the tornado on the ground.
The roaring, but it was like a whistle. And when the whistle came, in a split minute there, a few seconds, my grandson said, Grandma, get down, get down. In just a matter of seconds, it was over. And just to look at all the devastation from just those seconds, it's just unbelievable.
A community leaning on each other in hard times as they begin to figure out what's next. In Plantersville, Simon Schussler, WSFA 12 News.
And here in North Alabama, in Moulton, lightning struck an apartment complex on Saturday, sparking a fire. 48's Callie Neese with the details on that truly terrifying situation.
Brianna Graham lives here in the Fieldstone Apartments, and she thought it was just another stormy day until her friend's apartment got struck by lightning. This is video Graham took shortly after the lightning struck. She told me she saw the lightning, then started to see smoke. So she and her husband sprang into action to make sure that everyone was okay.
And the next thing you know, we see black smoke coming out. So we run across, and my husband called 911. Me, him, and another neighbor opened the door to try to go in and make sure that there were no kids inside, and they're gone.
Graham said they were not there at the time of the fire. EMA officials say 4 units were damaged, 2 by smoke and 2 by fire. Graham says this was really scary.
It was terrifying. Terrifying. And I'm worried about what's going to happen as far as their placement and how, like, where they're going to go, what are they going to do.
EMA officials say no one was hurt, and Graham says she is thankful for the fire department's quick action to put out the fire. Reporting live in Moulton, Cali News 48 News on your side.
Well, the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals denied Mac Marquette's efforts to have the judge in his murder case recuse himself. Marquette's attorneys went to the Court of Criminal Appeals with accusations that Morgan County Judge Charles Elliott had engaged in improper communications. The court found that Marquette's attorneys never presented any factual evidence, however, for their claims. The courts found there was no evidence reasonably raising the question of Judge Elliott's impartiality. The ruling means Elliott remains on Marquette's case for the murder of Steve Perkins. It also means that Marquette will be in court next week for an immunity hearing. But now a story in Huntsville, where earlier today we learned that the family of a man who was murdered by his own wife has now been awarded millions. Now this all comes after a wrongful death lawsuit brought forward by their best friend of the victim. The decision is giving Jim Capello's family a lump sum of $10 million. Jim was first reported missing in September of 2018 before he was found dead. His wife, Nikki Capello, was charged and later convicted of his murder. Capello was a registered nurse in Huntsville at the time of her arrest. During the trial, evidence proved that she poisoned her husband with insulin before asking friends to help her dispose of his body. She was given a life sentence in July of 2022. The court found that the Capello estate deserved the amount based on the malicious and reckless actions that caused Jim's death. But now, coming up after the break, we'll talk about what one local business owner is doing to combat rising costs, a new walking trail set to open in Decatur, excited about that one, and after 9 months of being in outer space, 2 astronauts are finally set to return home. It's all ahead. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Well, Easter, it's coming up quick, and that means chocolate is everywhere. Cream eggs, Reese's cups, all that good stuff. But this year, you might be paying a little extra for that Bate Chocolate. 48's Claudia Peppenhorst spoke to one Huntsville business owner who has found a way to combat these rising chocolate prices. Check it out.
The rising cost of cocoa means bad news for those with a sweet tooth. The price of chocolate is anywhere from 10 to 20% higher than this time last year due to disease, climate change, and weather impacting cocoa crops in West Africa. Those 3 factors are being felt right here in Huntsville. The Chocolate Gallery has been serving up delicious treats for Rocket City residents for over 2 decades. The previous owners of the chocolate shop recently sold the store due to rising food costs. Kimberly Belcher says she couldn't bear to see the store close its doors.
They were very upfront and honest with me. They said that part of the reason that they decided to sell was the rising food costs. Chocolate had gone up over 50% in the last 3 years that they had owned it, and not just the chocolate, but the things like the pecans and the nuts that we use.
So Belcher bought the store, or bought the store back. Before the previous owners, her parents owned and operated the chocolate gallery.
I heard that they were closing and I just couldn't let that happen. I love this place, and I feel like it's been around in Huntsville for 25 years and such a staple. I felt like it needed to stay open.
She's a month and a half into her new role as owner, and she says,
business has been great.
But how, with chocolate prices on the rise? 2 words, Dubai chocolate.
The reason why it's so popular is because, first of all, it's very hard to make yourself. The ingredients are kind of hard to find.
Dubai chocolate has taken social media by storm. If you're wondering what it is, it's pistachio cream, Gaddafi, and of course, chocolate. Usually in the form of a chocolate bar or a strawberry cup. But it's not easy to find. Belcher is one of the only places in Huntsville that sells it, which means business is booming.
The bars, when we open about 10, we normally have a restock every morning, but we normally sell out by about 12 or 1.
Well, residents in Decatur will soon have more places to walk and enjoy. Officials are working to improve and expand the existing Dr. Bill Sims Trail by adding new walking paths and bike lanes over a 9-mile span. An almost $19 million federal grant is funding the entire project. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy spoke with Jay Clark, who lives in Decatur. He says he thinks a walking trail would be a great addition to Old Town. Take a listen.
Old Town has got a lot of cultural aspects that a lot of residents don't know about. Like the church behind me was designed by the second educated and licensed African-American architect in America. So putting a bike trail in here and run it through, it's going to enable folks to, really be able to come over here and get some exercise and be able to access, great cultural and educational, historical aspects of the town.
Well, very cool. And now in a bit of space news, astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, whose 10-day mission to space has turned into 9 months and counting, are another step closer to coming home after an rescheduled launch. Crew 10 blasted off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida on Friday night. Now they may be coming home as soon as tomorrow. NBC's Tom Costello has covered this story for us from the beginning.
260 miles above the Earth at 12:04 a.m. Eastern Time Sunday morning.
Dragging contact and soft capture complete.
Crew 10 docked with the International Space Station. The relief team for Crew 9, including 2 astronauts who have been on board the station since last June.
SpaceX, Crew 10, welcome aboard the ISS.
Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were at the hatch as it opened with the new crew made up of a Japanese astronaut, a Russian cosmonaut, and 2 NASA astronauts, Nicole Ayers and Commander Ann McLean.
I cannot tell you the immense joy of our crew when we looked out the window and we saw the space station for the first time.
Butch and Suni's long extended visit started back on June 5th.
Go Starliner. Godspeed, Butch and Suni.
Boeing's Starliner spacecraft launched successfully from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for a 10-day test flight. But NASA became convinced Starliner wasn't safe, so it left Butch and Suni on the station while bringing Starliner home empty. Butch and Suni have been there ever since.
Every astronaut that launches into space, we teach them, don't think about when you're coming home. Think about how well your mission's going, and if you're lucky, you might get to stay longer.
Suni Williams soon took over as space station commander. Now, with a normal 5-month crew rotation, Butch and Suni are one step closer to coming home.
Great to see our friends arrive. So thank you so much.
An epic space saga for 2 astronauts about to celebrate the end of their very long mission.
In this very unique place gives you an amazing perspective, not only out the window obviously, but also just on how to solve problems. I don't want to lose that spark of inspiration and that perspective when I leave, so I'm going to have to bottle it somehow.
And I am sure they are more than ready to come back home, but incredible story there. But now take a look at this. Today on the good side, a Minnesota high school recently faced a big dilemma. Both the hockey team and the basketball team made it to the state playoffs, but the pep band had to choose one game over another. The basketball team was set to go bandless, but as Jeffrey McClure shows us, the community stepped up to help when they needed it the most. Take a look.
We're all passionate about music, and we love our schools and we love our music programs, and they're down in the cities doing the hockey tournaments, so they couldn't be here, and we could just kind of stand in the gap, and that's what we're doing.
The pep band for Hibbing's basketball section playoff games may look different, but they sound experienced. Just last week, there were concerns that a pep band wouldn't be there to bring the musical notes. That's when Kim McLaughlin stepped in.
I just put something out on Facebook if there would be interest, because our basketball team has done an amazing job this year.
Now, more than 30 musicians from the alumni band, city band, and even friends stepped up.
But I haven't picked up my flute in about 20 years. So when I saw the post about joining in, it was more about helping out the community that I now live in.
And it just brought back so many good memories from being at Hibbing High myself, and it felt great to play that music again.
The group has now performed at both of the Blue Jackets section quarterfinal and semifinal games to help get them ready for the big stage.
Pep band is one of those things, it's the fun songs, it's the rockin' songs that gets you going.
For many members, they did it for the chance to play again while enriching their soul.
I think music adds so much to life, whether it's in the grocery store or wherever at these games especially, it helps pump up the energy.
Moving on to the next round, in Hibbing, Jeffrey McClure, Northern News Now.
Love to see it. That is so awesome. And now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. The latest on a sexual predator sting in Limestone County. 48's Callie Neese will have more details on those arrests, one of them being a firefighter in the Russellville community. Another story you're just not going to want to miss, the latest on the protests we're seeing right outside of Congressman Dale Strong's office. We'll have more details on that. Arab school leaders providing more details on a new high school. 48 Savannah Sapp will have that story coming up. And today, marking the 55th year anniversary of the Space and Rocket Center. A lot of history has been made there without a doubt. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscasts. And I think it just about marks that time of the stream. And of course, that would be Facebook fun. That's right. Our 48 Facebook question of the day. How are you celebrating St. Patrick's Day? I got a little bit of green on my tie right now, so I cannot get pinched by anyone. So if anyone tries to pinch me, I am covered. No, just kidding. I have some beads that also is a good leprechaun repellent. But let's see, or the pinching finger repellent, I should say. But let's see what you all had to say. How are you celebrating St. Patty's Day? And let's see, Dell Potter said, by turning 55 years old. Happy birthday, Dell. You are the same age as the Space and Rocket Center, so that is incredible. 55, it's a magic number this year, without a doubt. Dell, thank you so much for commenting, and happy birthday. Hopefully you have a great rest of your birthday. Let's see who else commented. Hannah Gates said, with clover hair, and you see the braids there looking like a 3-leaf clover, without a doubt. You got the shamrock look. Love it. That is awesome. Hannah, thank you so much for commenting. Let's see who else is celebrating. Dawn said she is going to eat some corned beef and cabbage. Hey, you have to do it. You have to. I had some corned beef earlier today. I actually did not know what it was. We were back here in Tennessee Valley Living, had just finished up their kitchen segment, and I went to grab some of the leftover food there, and it was a fried corned beef ball, and it was good. I don't know if I've ever had corned beef before today, but I think I am now obsessed. Now I'm going to be eating so much corned beef. Dawn, thank you so much for commenting, and let's see, Peggy said, celebrating my St. Patrick's Day birthday, another birthday, dressed in our green with my great-grandson. And you see the photo there. It's kind of small on my screen here and probably yours as well, but adorable photo, and that is incredible. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Peggy, and everyone who's watching right now and everyone who commented on today's Facebook question of the day. Thank you so much for commenting. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Do something fun tonight, but be safe doing it. I do not want to have to report any of y'all tomorrow, but awesome stuff. That is just about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. But if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and the 48 Sport Zone app. Turn on those push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking news story. With that said, that's about it for today. But of course, thank you so much for watching, and you all have a great night.